Welcome, everybody. My name is Kim Hill, and I'm delighted to be here with you. I have been with Play Like a Champion since the very beginning. I am a teacher, an educator, a coach, but I'm also a mindfulness specialist. And today I'm going to do a little bit of information sharing with you on mindfulness. And then we're going to do just a very short mindfulness meditation. What a time to be practicing mindfulness. It's a word that we're hearing a lot of lately. Interestingly enough, when I first started practicing mindfulness about 20 years ago, people would say, mindfulness, what is that? No one even knew what it was. But really, we hear it all the time now, and there's so much interest in it. So let me just tell you a little bit. Mindfulness is simply staying in the present moment, being aware of what is going on with inside of you and outside of you in a non-judgmental way. And what that allows you to do, it allows you to expand your life to experience what is happening at every moment. And it's so valuable because what we know is people who live in the past really suffer a lot of depression, and people who are worried about the future, anxiety. If you are in the present moment, there is so much self-understanding, wisdom, and interestingly enough, mindfulness became very popular after some just seminal research that was done at Harvard. And what they looked at was what was going on in the brain when people were meditating with mindfulness meditation. And they found that after very short periods of time, 8 weeks with just a half-hour mindfulness session a day, people had an increase in the prefrontal cortex of their brain, the brain that controls executive functioning, things like self-awareness, self-control, emotional regulation, perspective taking. And so all of those things are so valuable for all of us, not only in the way we live our lives, but in the way we see other people around us. So I trained in mindfulness because for me, it is such a valuable component of how we live our lives. So what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to walk you through the process that I would do if I were teaching an 8-week class. So you get to experience what it is. Most people think, oh, mindfulness, I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to close my eyes, I'm not going to have a thought in my head. And that's not the way our brains work. Our brains have thoughts all the time. They come, they go. They come, they go. And actually, if they didn't, that would be a problem. But what mindfulness does, it makes us aware that those thoughts are coming up. So when they come up, we're like, oh, there's a thought. And we're basically training our brains to be aware of what's going on. And with the practice, every time a thought comes into our brain, we simply return to the breath. Because what the breath does is it acts as an anchor or a reminder to us that we can return to ourselves, and we don't have to have our lives be controlled by these random thoughts that are running rampant. Now, it's good to have thoughts, it's good to have ideas, it's good to have emotions, but the awareness of them is very important. So mindfulness helps in all areas. If you're training at Play Like a Champion conference for your athletes, we've seen a huge increase with teams that are using mindfulness. We see it all across the board in business and industry. We see it in education. It's becoming a really important part of life. But for me, the most valuable place where I teach it is with my kids in school. Because if we can teach the young kids how to regulate their emotions, how to stop and pause and then move forward, then we have been successful. So let's try a little mindfulness practice. I hope you enjoy it. Don't be judgmental, because that's what being mindful is all about, non-judgmental awareness. So just take a nice deep breath and settle into your chair if you're sitting there. Just relax your shoulders. Sit in a nice upright position. See if you can just kind of go through your whole body and sense if there's anywhere where you're feeling some stress or tension. Start at your feet, move up your legs, your arms, your shoulders, up into your head. Just a basic general idea. Do I feel tension anywhere? And if you do, just see if you can't relax that tension a little bit. And what we're going to do is I'm going to talk you through this. You can either close your eyes if you like. If that's uncomfortable for you, feel free to have a soft downward gaze. Generally, that helps you focus a little bit better. But just relax into your body and become aware of your breathing. So you're just going to inhale and exhale. And you don't need to force anything, but just concentrate on your breath going in and out, and in and out. We call the breath in mindfulness an anchor because it allows us something to focus on. So as we're breathing, maybe we feel the breath coming into our belly. And some people feel the breath in their shoulders rising and falling. Some people feel the cool air coming in through their nostrils and the warm air going out. But regardless of where you're feeling the breath, try not to force it and try not to judge it. Just notice it. And if after a few breaths, which is totally normal to have happen, a thought comes into your head. For instance, it's windy here and I just heard the leaves rustling outside. I thought, oh, it's windy. All you do is come right back to the breath. Breathe in and out. In and out. We're going to take about 1 more minute. And in that minute, I'm not going to speak. Just see if you can notice your breath and your mind. And if your mind goes somewhere else to a thought, see if you can come back to your breath. And go in and out. And after your next breath, if you're ready, simply open your eyes, come back to the present moment, and you have practiced mindfulness. That's all there is to it. I just wanted to share one quick closing thought. This is one of my favorite books ever, Man's Search for Meaning. And Viktor Frankl once said that between the stimulus and the response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And I really believe that when you practice mindfulness, it allows you that space to choose your response. And I always think that response is generally a good choice. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your conference. It's been so great to spend this time with you. If you want any other information on mindfulness, please feel free to get in touch with me. Take care. Bye-bye.